Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. Today we're going to be playing Blue-White Familiars. Some people have asked to see some more Familiars content. We're bringing it out. What I'm doing today is I'm going to be testing once again playing my 4 Meeting the Minds build, trying to use the free draw spells as much as possible. We're going to go full ground creatures with 4 Faithful, 4 Familiar, 4 Seagate Oracle, and then just the 3 Muldrifter here. So why are we doing that? We have 4 Meeting the Minds, and this is a draw 2. This is a draw 2. Kind of like having 7 Muldrifters, right? If we can flicker 2 Arcanomancers, we get back to Meeting the Minds, we cast it again. It's kind of like a speedier Muldrifter. So since we're not worried about specifically attacking in the air, because we're playing Sage's Rodenizen here in the main for a mill win condition, we're going to just go deeper that way. And where I'm taking this 4th Muldrifter is over here on the cantrip side. I'm going to be trying 1 Serum Visions. This is draw card Scry 2. Most people in Pauper haven't even seen this card, but I have a really fancy Secret Lair version of it, so we're going to use it. The idea is that it's a little bit better than Ponder in Familiars because we're trying to set up the next draws more than just trying to see the top 3. We'll see if that works out. And changing the mana base, the second Broker's Hideout for a Tranquil Cove here, which is a blue-white tap land that gains a life. And I'm using this land specifically because I'm playing some Loose Focus here in the main. Loose Focus is Replicate for a blue, counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. The reason I'm playing this, I'm playing 2 Loose Focus and 1 Prohibit. But Loose Focus is useful against the initiative mid-range piles. If they do land the initiative and start getting out ahead, it's really terrible for you, especially if they're like a big removal pile. So we want to bring in Loose Focus there. The other idea here is that we're weak to flyers. We only have 3 in our deck now, so we want to play a lot of counters that can counter flyers and like keep them off the board. So all 3 of these can counter Spellstarter Sprite. Loose Focus can counter initiative creatures, Crypt Rats, stuff like that. We'll definitely be really weak to Crypt Rats and also to Krark-Clan Shaman with this specific build. So we'll see if that is a huge issue here. Then over in the sideboard, because we're weak to Krark-Clan Shaman, I'm playing 7 anti-affinities. We also have 2 Last Breath, which is exile target creature with power 2 or less. It's the best removal spell in blue-white, basically. And we can use that against fairies. We have 4 Hydroblast against burn. I don't think I'm too concerned about the ground-based burn, and I don't think we need to play Prismatic Strands because we have so many ground blockers. I'm trying to put creatures on the table and slam the Meeting the Minds. Then 2 more negates here as our catch-all counterspell. If you're not familiar with the deck, Sunscape Familiar makes green and blue spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So it ends up making Snap cost 1, our counters cost 1, which is really awesome. Then eventually when we have 2 of them in play, we can evoke a Muldrifter for 1 mana. We can cast Seagate Oracle for 1 mana, etc., etc. And then Ghostly Flicker says exile 2 target artifacts or creatures you control or lands, and return those to the battlefield under your control. Because it says creature or land, once it costs 1 mana, you can flicker Archaeomancer, which says when it enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery from your graveyard or hand, and an island. So you tap the island for mana, you flicker the Archaeomancer and tap the island. Flicker untaps the island and the Mancer. You get back to flicker. Now you have infinite ETBs, which means infinite Sage's Rodenizen milk, and also gives you infinite life because you're casting infinite blue spells. The cool thing about Flicker is also like you can tap the 2 Archaeomancers to convoke a Meeting of the Minds, and then flicker them and convoke them again over and over and over and over. So it gives you more of a Flicker combo for drawing your deck, where you don't necessarily need the Muldrifter, which is why we're trimming on it. Definitely interested in seeing what happens with going a little bit deeper on the cantrips. Yep, if you're interested in more information about this deck, or you want to do maybe even a coaching session, which I've done with a couple of people, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Calicais. If you like the video, give me a like and subscribe. We'll see you in the matches. This one's going to be like a testing, no nonsense, trying to win. We'll see you there. We're here in round 1. We're on the play, so we'll take it. Versus Tuna. Okay, that's a pretty mediocre hand where we have a bunch of lands, nothing to do, and a counterspell. Being on the play, the counterspell might be okay. I still think it's probably a mulligan. Alright, well, we're going to keep this one. Put back the Arcanomancer here. And lead on to Plains and pass the turn. I don't think there's any really need to keep the Arcanomancer at the moment. We'll shuffle. We're really looking for tempo into meeting the minds, I guess. And we're up against mono blue, looks like. Mono blue cranes. A preordain. Oops. Alright, yield until next end step. So land preordain is interesting. Could be anything, actually. Our mono blue fairies are not really playing cantrips anymore, so it indicates that it's not necessarily mono blue. And it could be familiars, or it could be interesting. So if it's familiars, I think we just pass, get our Chancery down. If they play the fan this turn, we can snap it and hold up a prohibit. They could still be like blue-black terror. Looks like they're holding up a counterspell. If it's fairies, we have, if they're going to pass the turn, we can just like counter their Spellsucker Sprite on their end step, or on our end step when they flash it in. We'll get the Tranquil Cove in play since we have it. Fortunate to draw more lands. Okay, they are mono blue fairies, so we just get this Spellsucker Sprite off the table. No thank you. No thank you. So preordained Spellsucker Sprite, 2 islands, no script, no snowlands, probably mono blue. They're preordaining again. Definitely a different than stock at the moment build. They went top and bottom. Likely they were just trying to find a land. Okay, we have multiple snaps. So our goal here is to yield until end step, see if they flash in another sprite. We snap it, play Meeting the Minds. Don't want to walk into a Spell Pierce, that's for sure. Play land and pass. We're not going to play out the Meeting the Minds because I don't have anything to follow it up with. So I'll just play this land. Loose Focus is cool. So now I can like snap their thing and then cast Meeting the Minds and lose focus. Okay, they're just playing out. Place a ninja. Time walk you. Cast Meeting the Minds. Draw some cards. So here, it being an instant was good. It would have been better as a Muldrifter, I guess, for us. Let's cycle this land. Grab another island. That way we don't draw. We're sort of thinning a little bit. Okay, we can play Faithful. Get our Seagate Oracle down. And then if they do hardcast the Ninja, do we try to play Loose Focus? I think we're at the moment in time where they have so many lands in play that we probably have to. Okay, we're going to take the Ephemerate here, pass the turn. So if they tap 4 mana, we lose focus, they Spell Pierce. That's fine, because we have double blockers. Then we just snap and replay the Seagate Oracle, maybe Ephemerate it. Plays a Spire Golem. Okay, so what's going to happen is, I guess we play this land first. They attack. We snap their ninja. We could also snap the Spire Golem on the beginning of combat step. They get in. Pay 2 mana. Here comes the ninja. Snap. And we snap the ninja, floating a white so that we can ephemerate. They counterspell. We're going to ephemerate the Seagate Oracle first. That resolves. We'll grab that second Seagate Oracle. Just go ahead and counterspell that. Counter your counter. Actually, no. I'm going to let that resolve. Then I'm going to snap the ninja. Let's see. Do I even care about the ninja anymore? I think I don't. We can counter the Spire Golem when they cast it right now. We have double blockers for the ninja. I think we're fine. Let's just counter Spire Golem. No thanks. And then use the snaps that we have to advance our own game plan. It's the turn. So we're going to draw a card off the Ephemerate, and then we're going to draw for turn. Then we have Seagate Oracle. We also have Snap. So it looks pretty good for us. Our opponent's deck is not set up to beat us here. Mole Drifter. Okay, we have 7 mana. So if we find a land off the Mole Drifter, we can cast the Seagate Oracle. Let's slam the Mole Drifter. So you just draw into them anyway, no big deal. Alright, we find Ephemerate as well. So we probably want to Ephemerate the Mole Drifter right now, just to get that value out ahead of a Spellstutter Sprite. Once again, we can snap this. I guess we just, or we could just double, I don't really, yeah, we're just going to pass the turn. Pass. I have double Preordain here that I could use. I also could snap and play the Seagate Oracle, but I think that just blocking is fine. With 7 cards in hand, they're likely to have Spellstutter Sprites. So they can like sprite my Ephemerate, and I could snap the Spellstutter Sprite, but we'll see. We're way ahead on cards, and they can see the game. Just to not show us more. Alright, so we really want the Last Breaths. We don't really need the Sage's Row Denizen. We can make one more cut. I think probably it's wise to take out the Ephemerate here, because Ephemerate is kind of a risky play playing into the Spellstutter Sprites. We'll see. A lot of people like to leave in the Ephemerates. It's like a really cheap spell to just throw out there, and so much value if you can actually get it to resolve. But I don't really know what else I would want to bring out. What I like about this setup is that I have 6 ways to deal with a turn 2 ninja, and then I've got the blockers, ground and pound. I still want to keep my cantrips to be able to continue to make my land drops in the face of all the stuff that they're doing. We haven't seen the Serum Visions yet, but the Meeting of the Minds as an instant speed draw 2 was kind of nice. We just kind of sat on it. They didn't do anything, we didn't do anything, and we won the game. Okay, this is a cool hand. It's interesting because it's sort of weak on the draw. Okay, they have the turn 1 Fairy Seer, so they're going to have a turn 2 Ninja most likely. We want to get our white land for our Sunscape Familiar, probably. We could also go for Serum Visions and do some setup. Let's see how they scry. They went top. Alright, so the Last Breath here makes me want to pass the turn, fetch at Plains, and then Last Breath their turn 2 Ninja. So I'm yielding until next end step, just to indicate that I have nothing. We saw Preordains and Big Ninja, so I do expect the Big Ninja to come out here. They have it. It's very important for me to get the Ninja off the table. So I'm cycling. If we just play out the Sunscape Familiar, we're weak to a snap. Luckily, we draw into another land. Zap that guy. Let's see if you have. Do you have a Muta? They don't have the Muta in hand. All right, no mutagenic. Sweet. So their game plan is drastically reduced here. They're going to go for Preordain. We have the Serum Visions in hand. We get to see how it goes. Play Fairy Seer, so we can play Sunscape Familiar, Hold Up, Prohibit. They went double top. We have the Meeting of Minds now. Play Familiar. I think it's probably good to hold up the Prohibit, even though I don't really want to, just because I would like to not get my creature snapped or make them do more stuff if they're going to try to snap my guy. They play Miscreants. You have a second Miscreant in hand. Looks like a Ninja? No Ninja. So they're just attacking. Holding up Spellstutter Sprite or Counterspell. think I'm going to cast the Meaning of Minds, respond with a Prohibit. Since I have no chance to block this turn, it's fine to get this out. They're going to let that go. Alright, well, we didn't draw anything, so we have to pass. I suppose Preordain would have been the correct call there then. The fact that we lost a land drop there was really bad. So now if they go Snap, play Spire Golem. Okay. They don't have a Ninja in play. We don't have any life gain in play. They bash in. Okay, we draw a card, the Last Breath. We need to get the Seagate Oracle in play to try to find a land. We're going for the counterspell. We have a counterspell. So we're looking for an island, or it's Chancery. Find the Chancery. Yikes, we have to bottom a Faithful, which stinks. Play the Chancery. We have to make that land drop, though. Pick up the land. Your turn. So they have 4 power in the air. 5 power now. Playing that Miscreant is scary. So we could try using our cantrips to kind of set them back. I'll play my land. So if I play a Seagate Oracle, they can Spellstutter Sprite it here. Arcane-Mancer would be a good Spellstutter Sprite target for them as well. I think I'm going to Preordain, see if they Sprite that. We just made our land drop. Okay, we have Chancery Familiar. I think at this point we don't want the Chancery. But we do want the Familiar. So then we can play the Familiar out, they Spellstutter Sprite, then we play the Seagate Oracle, and we draw 2 with Meaning of the Minds. Or we play Seagate Oracle, they Spellstutter Sprite, then we play Arcane-Mancer or Sunscape Familiar and draw 2. So I think the best play is to get more cards. Spellstutter Sprite. Yep. Play Seagate Oracle. And the Faithful, we do need that. Cast Meaning of the Minds. Do. Draw some cards. We're going to go to 7 cards in hand. We haven't seen Spell Pierces, but they have it. Alright, so the worst case scenario here, if they have... Oh man, we're definitely in a bad spot. If they have a way to pick up the Spellstutter Sprite, we'll be hosed. Hosed indeed. They play an of 1 Mind for full value, wow, for full casting cost. So they're probably not going to pick up the Spellstutter Sprite here, we'll see. So we're going to 5. Okay, now we're at 6. That matters a lot. Arcane-Mancer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to Last Breath this. Pass the turn. This is pretty classic fairies where they just have too much in the air and you can't deal with it. Not having the Modern Age here is just a really, really big problem. So we just don't have anything to do. If they have a ninja here, we're dead. Or mutagenic or anything. Fairy Seer. They have 5 power, gonna put us to 1. I guess long term. Alright, so we're just going to see if they can do anything. Play Faithful. Probably dead now. Serum Visions. Meaning of Minds is good. So bottom, pop this. We can cast that for free. Evoke this. One other thing we could try to play in this matchup is Unholy Light or whatever. But here we just lose. Too many fairies on the battlefield. You could see that not having the Faithful in play was a big problem for me. So I guess we're trying to prioritize that again. Get that Faithful out. Maybe the other spot where I played the Familiar into the Spellstutter Sprite was wrong. Okay, I'm going to keep this. It's very slow. We're on the play though. You can see that their turn two ninja was big game for them for sure. Play the Cove, pass the turn. So we got a lot of blue sources. That's going on. If next turn we don't if we don't have anything, we just play out the Chancery. They preordain. Thank you for not having a turn 2 ninja. Really appreciate that. Maybe this player is just not playing Moonhacker. Okay, Chancery. Pick up the Cove. Now they're playing Island. Fairy Seer. Another Fairy Seer. They went bottom on the first one. I guess they're looking for another ninja. Or maybe a land. Top this time. Got a lot of value there. So I think I'm just going to draw 2. We have the Mortuary Mire to pick that back up later. But what do I want to discard? I think I'm going to discard the Plains. Not really where I wanted to be. Maybe I shouldn't have evoked it. We do have the Faithful now, which I like. There's a Moon Hacker. Moon Circuit Hacker, not Moon Hacker. Alright, we have the chance to play our Faithful now, which is great. Fairy Seer. Maybe they're not playing Mutagenics. So now, play the Faithful for sure. I can go land into Meeting of Minds. Or I can play Mortuary Mire for the Mole Drifter, so I think I want the Drifter back. Pass the turn. Our opponent plays a land. We haven't seen snaps out of them or mutagenic growths. There's an of one mind. Maybe the only weirdness that they're playing is this preordain here. They're getting in with everything. Okay, they're not. Oh, they are. The fact that they like thought that through again makes me think they don't have mutagenic in hand. They do. No, they don't. Okay. Do you have a counterspell? Let's see if they go to discard just to hold up their counterspell. They do. Discarding a ninja. That's pretty surprising. I'm going to get my land into play, pass the turn. I'm going to block the ninja and zap the other ninja with my last breath. Or I'll cast Meeting of the Minds. We'll see. They play a Spellstutter Sprite, huh? It's weird. They want it out of their hand. So they have one Fairy Seer in hand. I could have last breath the Spellstutter Sprite there, but a lot of times in this matchup it's better to just make them do stuff on their turn. They play a Fairy Seer. They're going to swing in for 4. Block. Let's see if they ninja. Nope. They take 4. They discard an island. Bully for them. Bully for you, Captain. Let's try to get rid of this hacker. Right now they have 3 fairies in play. They're thinking this through considerably. Lots to think about. They let it go. 1 ninja down. So my expectation is they have a counterspell. I'm going to pass the turn and cast Meeting of the Minds on their turn to try to get them to do something. That Spell Pierce last game was kind of rough for me, for sure. We block. Cast Meeting. They ninja. Okay. Meeting of Minds. We're looking for a prohibit here. The opponent counterspells the Meeting of Minds. Okay. Pass the turn. Go to 13, then down to 9. Don't know if they made a land drop this turn. They did not. There's the land. So I'm going to start with Preordain, looking for a land. Go to 10. We know there's Spellstutter Sprite in hand, so landing the familiar is very difficult. Loose Focus. So bottom, top this. We can cast the familiar. Counter the spell source sprites. 1, 2. Now we have 2 blockers for their ninjas. And end step we can play the Meeting of Minds. Although they will probably have the Spell Pierce again. So maybe we don't want to play into the Spell Pierce. With 6 mana in play, they're likely to not like tap out. Alright, they thought about it for a while and played a Fairy Miscreant. Okay. They get in for 2. Okay. They're going to pass the turn. So if they have Spell Pierce in hand, I guess that's not great. Let's draw. You find a snap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's evoke a Drifter. See if they counterspell it. I probably should have evoked with the Chancery, actually. Then I could go for snap on the Drifter. Although, if this resolves, we can tap the Chancery and cast Meeting of Minds. Looks like they're going to use a second counterspell. Okay, they finally used their counterspell. Sure. We have a second Drifter. Let's see if they have a second counterspell. It's a brutally long wait to see if they have the counterspell. They've been sitting on this spell on the stack for like 45 seconds. It resolves. Heyo. Alright, that's great. So we get to play the Chancery, pick up the Mortuary Mire. We have Last Breath. We're feeling it now. Now on the attack step, if they don't have a second Miscreant right now, we can just block a Fairy Seer. They're going to get the value out of the Fairy Seer regardless, right, if they ninja. So potentially we want to block the Fairy Miscreant with the Mole Drifter, but it looks like they're just going to pass. Nice. Mortuary Mire. Get back the Mole Drifter. Yep. Play the Archaeomancer. Try to get back the loose focus maybe, or just get back the Meeting of Minds, I guess. Loose focus isn't doing very much here, right? They have a Spell Stutter Sprite, so we're gonna Last Breath the. I guess doesn't matter, right? Spell Stutter Sprite's going to resolve. We Last Breath it. Try to kill it forever. Second Spell Stutter Sprite. Okay. What are you going to shoot? They go after the Last Breath. Alright. So we have Mole Drifter on top. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fairies. So they can counter my Mole Drifter with their Spell Stutter Sprites now. But we can block and slam Meeting of the Minds, holding up the mana for Spell Pierce. You can also cast a Snap. They think it through for a while and then attack with all of their ninjas as well as their creatures. Easy block on the Spell Stutter Sprite. Yet another ninja. Okay, we're going to cast Meeting of Minds before they draw anything. So here, 1, 2, 3. This would be the 4th fairy if they Spell Stutter Sprite the Meeting of the Minds right now. So we can just snap their Fairy Miscreant if they with the Spell Stutter Sprite on the stack. Then make them do stuff. Snap. Okay. Put the stack down here so everyone can see. Let's see if our opponent times out. They're already at 5 minutes. Yikes. Untap, untap. Spell Stutter Sprite resolves. Doesn't do anything. What? 1, 2. Oh, it did do something. Whoops, I'm stupid. They get a ninja. Wow, I stink. Pass the turn. Yikes. So they just get to play their fairy for free. I had already thought that this thing had eaten that. My bad. My bad. Bad news bears. Jam us Mole Drifter, see if we get counterspelled out of the game. Oh god, no. Oh no. Oh darn. Big mistakes. Oh jeez. That was a huge mistake. They get their Miscreant back into the battlefield. They play another Miscreant, draw a card. Oh no. Oh no. Oh God, no. Oh jeez. uh, you live, you learn. Oh man. There's basically no draw that we have that can win here. We block. Pass the turn, we're taking 4. Next turn we're taking lethal. They get to loot. Oh God. Why did I do that? Okay, okay. Block, block, block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I feel bad, and we're gonna go to the next one. We learned. See you there. Let's rally back. We're gonna mulligan this one. We don't have any action. This one is also sketch, but we're gonna keep it. Putting back the Sage Row. We're on the draw. The reason it's sketchy is we don't have a white source. Could be on mono blue. It could be on. If it's a spell pierce deck, we're in a bad spot. Okay, I want the meaning in the land, I guess. Don't really know what we're gonna do. Play the Chancery. Okay. Yeah, we're behind. Pass the turn. Looks like they're gonna pass. No, they're playing Seagate Oracle. Sage Row. Sure, sure, sure. Land. Pass the turn. We have a loose focus for pretty much anything. Let's actually undo. Snap this first. We could have tried to keep the snap in hand in case I draw a Chancery, so we could snap that and play our Familiar. But this allows us to draw into an untapped land to play the Archaeomancer. Pass the turn. Invoke a Drifter. Oh gosh. Well, we are going to die, for sure. It's just not going super well. I'm ready. They have 5 mana. We have 3 mana. We have no white sources. They go Godfarrow's Faithful. Snap the Faithful, make a mana. So now they're at 6 mana. They can Drifter, Flicker, Drifter. I don't understand why they did that. They just wanted to Faithful again. Sage Row. They're just trying to hold up a counterspell? What is... Oh, they wanted to play Medium Mines? Don't know if that was necessary. Okay. Tranquil Cove. Pass the turn. Everyone's meeting. Plays an Archaeomancer to get back the Medium Mines. 5/5/5 out, actually. Ah! Whatever. Gets back Medium Mines. They can cast Medium Mines. So, get back the Mole Drifter. Well, good for you. Alright, land, familiar, snap this, untap, untap, play Archaeomancer, get the loose focus, pass the turn. So we know they have Mole Drifter in hand. Well, that's really frustrating. Okay, we lose the game. I mean, we knew we were losing anyway, but you know, they just had the nutso. We didn't have anything. We're gonna get rid of our faithfuls. So far, Meaning of the Minds has not worked out very well for me. Yikes. Let's go to game 2. Okay, we're on the play. Yes, we keep. I don't really like this hand very much, but we have interaction. Land, let's preordain, just looking for stuff to do. So do I want the Chancery? I think yes. So they are going to play an Obscura. I don't know why people are playing Obscura still. Let's pass the turn. We're holding up loose focus for their familiar. Alright, they're going to pick up their planes, so we grab an island and let them pick up their planes. Play land, pass the turn. We'll just counter that right now. Stop them from drawing. Then we can untap and play Seagate Oracle on a land. We get to draw. We're going to pick up, I guess, the Sage. I feel like I want the Mortuary Mire more than Sage Row, but I guess it doesn't really matter. We don't need the mire right now. Pick this up. Make sure we yield through this turn so they don't know we have Meeting of Minds in hand. They're going to go Drifter Ephemerate, so we're going to Last Breath their Drifter, which gets rid of their Ephemerate, and then we can play this. Oh, no Ephemerate. They just want Drifter just in case they had Ephemerate. Okay. We will slam an actual Drifter and keep it on the table. I'm going to F6, swing. Right now they only have 2 blue sources. Okay, 3 now. They cycle. Makes sense. Preordain. Soon we'll have Meeting of Minds mana. Plays a land. Plays Modern Age. Discards an island. Okay. We have a land. Play out Seagate Oracle. Find Ash Baron's Broker's Hideout. We want the Ash Barons because that's an untapped land for the next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think I'm just going to swing. Right, your turn. So depending on what they do, we have Flicker for our Muldrifter Seagate Oracle. We can cast a Meeting of the Minds. They're going to draw and discard. They go to 6 in hand. 4 mana for Archaeomancer. To get back what? Meeting or Preordain? Meeting. Okay. Alright, end step. Cast our own. Draw 2. Wonder what's going to happen. Nothing. So I'm going to lead on trying to Last Breath their Archaeomancer. See if they do anything. That's going to resolve. So that means they probably have a counter for the Sunscape. Let's Preordain, looking for a counter. Find a Seagate Oracle and a Snap. I'm going to bottom both of these. Let's swing out. Yeah. So they go to 17. They have completely lost one of their Archaeomancers. Got 3 mana, they're going to evoke a Muldrifter. You have an Ephemerate. Snap. Untap. Untap. So they get the Muldrifter back to hand, but the Ephemerate doesn't resolve, and they're at 8 cards in hand. So they'll have to discard their hand size. No, they're not going to discard hand size, they're going to play a land. Meeting of Minds. Draw some cards. Okay. Preordain for a counter. Another familiar is decent, right? So they would have to have. They can't prohibit my Archaeomancer. So try to get the Archaeomancer into play. What do we want to get? Let's take the loose focus. Chancery. Pick up the Ash Barons, and then we will swing with these 2. Alright, what's going to happen? We have the 2 familiars. Actually, we have the full combo. We'll discard the Chancery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we may be able to protect our spells. Familiar. In this case, loose focus is much worse than a prohibit. They're going to snap something. They're going to evoke a Muldrifter. Okay. Draw. Probably cast Meeting of the Minds here. They're going to Ephemerate. Okay. Cast Loose Focus. So they snap my Seagate Oracle so that they could get some mana back, but by playing Loose Focus, we're going to cut them off of 2 blue sources or one of their counter spells. So they kind of have to decide. They're going to pay for it. Did they have an Ephemerate in exile right now? That one got exiled forever, so they Preordain. They're leaving up 1 counterspell. So it's my turn. They have to discard a hand size. They discard a Modern Age. Serum Vision's not very good right now. Let's attempt to get a familiar in play. That resolved. Play another familiar. I don't understand what's happening. First I'm gonna evoke the Drifter, I guess. Looking for a counter. Okay, we just have it. Alright. They just did not draw very well, I guess. And there's the combo. Combo. We're gonna now interact at the very end. Maybe a last breath. I mean, it doesn't really matter what they have because we have the negate. They only have one blue source. Serum Vision's poorly doing anything. Maybe the correct play is to play one Modern Age over the Serum Visions, or like a couple. Thing is, like, yeah, do. All right, GG. Now we are on the draw for game 3, which is bad. Bad. There we go. Submit. Everybody resubmitted pretty quickly. Alright, what do we have? This is fine. We have the familiar. We have a negate. Turn 2 fam. Or, we know they have last breaths in their deck now. They mull to 5. So we can play Tranquil Cove into a preordain. Or just slam the familiar on turn 2. They don't have last breath up. Tranquil Cove and pass. You have the familiar? They do. So we will just respond in kind, I guess. Kabam. They Chancery picking up the planes. Do you have a snap? No snap. I'm just going to play the Seagate Oracle and not leave up the negate this turn. Try to develop a little bit. Another Chancery and an Ash Barrens. I'll take the Ash Barrens over the Chancery. Play this Chancery. Pass the turn. We're going to try to prioritize getting blue sources in play. And when you play a Chancery, it just keeps your blue sources the same. Last breath on the fam would be bad. But, you know, we're trying to make them have it. And they did mull to 5. There's a Mulldrifter. So they probably are going to go Mulldrifter, snap Mulldrifter. They could also have snapped my familiar and just hardcasted the Mulldrifter, leaving up still 1 mana to interact. They're going to evoke the Drifter again and let it go. Alright. Familiar, huh? Let's cycle. We're going to grab an island. Or the island. We're going to cast Meaning of Minds, I think. Or Preordain. Let's just Preordain. Flicker. Bottom and top the Flicker. Let's pass the turn. Plan on playing Meeting on their turn and having negates. They play their own Seagate Oracle. So we're all sort of still developing. This is their turn 5. That's Meeting of Minds. They let that go. We have double familiar now. Play fam. That resolves. I'm going to play the Archaeomancer. Try to get back the Meeting of Minds. If they have like a last breath on the familiar, I can try to flicker familiar and island. They prohibit. We're going to negate and get back negate. And pass the turn. They play a tap land, grabbing an island. You can see here we only have 3 blue sources, which is not great. 3 mana. Last breath the Archaeomancer and Preordain. So the Sage Denizen can combo off with just 1 Mancer. So let's lead on Snap Your Familiar. We'll negate the Dispel. They have a negate. Alright, we are gonna slam it. We have white floating, right? So we just cast a Mulldrifter. Pass the turn. 2 cards in hand for our opponent. They evoke a Drifty. And cast Meeting of the Minds. It's pretty good. Flicker. You sure are doing things. So if they have just one island open, right, we can go. No, we don't have anything. We really need to get rid of that familiar. We're gonna lose to a mold of 5. No. Step 1, meeting of minds. A negate. 2, 3, 4. All right, that doesn't help very much. I'm gonna get my other familiar in play. Then I'm going to flicker these two guys. Draw a ton of cards. Let's negate your last breath. So then we are going to put the Seagate Oracle under the Moldrifter trigger. Grab another island. Play this. And let's Archaeomancer for the flicker. Pass the turn. We have one Archaeomancer left, right? We have the full combo right here. They could have a bunch of counter spells though. Casts another Meeting of Minds. So what have they used? Prohibit, negate, dispel, 2 last breaths, flicker. They get Archaeomancer. What are you going to get back? The last breath. Alright. So I'm going to get rid of my Archaeomancer here. They're doing a lot. Playing some tap lands. There's a Seagate Oracle. So they're holding up last breath and potentially 1 counterspell. They might just go last breath right now. They cast Meeting of Minds. So they just have last breath in play. And if they tap out, they die. They do tap out for the last breath, assuming that we didn't have it. But we do have it. Bam. Bam. Get. Snap. Whatever. You. And we got it. GG's. See you in the next one. Bam. Okay. Send that guy back. Float a lot of blue. And start flickering. And flicker again. Hiya! Okay. We'll just try to close this out. And they just said that they whiffed on their interaction, and that's it. We win the game. Sometimes you get lucky. Let's go to the next. So we're here in round 3 versus Genki 191. We have turn 2 fam, turn 3 fam. They're playing a Plains Thraben Inspector. So they could be on all sorts of decks. Usually Plains Thraben Inspector is either a white weenie or just going for like a mid-range plan. And we do have the loose focus for initiatives. They get in. There's like Boros decks, black-white decks. They play another land. They're Fiend's Informant, so this could definitely be a white weenie deck. Gets rid of Strands. Could be like a Boros bully deck. Land. Play Familiar. Of note, we have no way to deal with a Journey to Nowhere in the main deck. But we... Oh, come on. Okay. There's one Journey. We get in. Cycle. An island. Play the island. And then we're going to play the other Familiar. Hope they don't have a second Journey, I guess. We'll block here. It looks like white weenie probably then. Attacks for 3, 4. I'm just going to block. No reason not to block the Inspector. If they have a land Bolt, wait, this guy was already dead. Squadron Hawk. So it's a weenie. Weenie Babini. We can cycle for an island, snap the Hawk. Then land. Seagate Oracle. Pick the Faithful. Snap this Hawk. On tap. Play the Faithful. Pass the turn. So now on their turn we can cast Meeting of Minds. And then, well, we'll cycle first for an island and then cast Meeting of Minds. They're representing potentially Guardian's Pledge here. So in that case I will simply block here. But no, they are showing us that they don't have it in hand or they didn't feel like doing it that turn. They Militia Bugler. We're going to yield until next end step to be considerate. Let them do all of their things. They reveal a Lunarch veteran. We are going to grab an island. Cast Meeting of the Minds. Bam. Draw 2. Make sure to yield to that faithful trigger. This is a match where we're going to have to find the Sagero combo. Let's start with Arcane-Mancer. Grab the Meeting of Minds. Cast the Meeting of Minds. Draw some cards. Play land. Play Seagate Oracle. So we wanted to do the blind draw first, and now we can have some selection. Get another Meeting of Minds. Now we're really chaining. Feels good now. Alright, pass the turn. We have to F6 so they don't know we have Meeting of Minds in hand. Be very sneaky. Guardian's Pledge gives everything +2/+2. They'll probably get their Luna. Okay, they're gonna Idyllic Range, maybe the 3-minute. No, this guy. So it's a 4/3 and it can attack. We'll block here and here in case they have the pledge that the faithful will survive. We take 4. I assume they'll just go hawk into hawk. Caw! They're coming down. I'm gonna preordain first. I could have also Arcane-Mancer for snap. Alright, that's nice. Bottom, top this. So we can play Familiar into Muldrifter or Arcane-Mancer for snap. Arcane-Mancer, snap. I'll just play the Muldrifter here. Pass the turn. We're at 14 life. So if we find a Flicker, they are going to have no board because we flicker our 2 Arcane-Mancers. And then just draw our deck. Snap them out. Okay, looks like they're going to go for it. Alright, so we go block, 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 block. There's the pledge. We're going to respond by casting Meeting of Minds. Our creature does die. They play a Lunarch veteran. So now we have Arcane-Mancer. Grab Meeting of the Minds. Then I'm gonna cast it. Draw 2. Alrighty. We have a loose focus to handle their more Meeting of Minds, huh? Chancery. We'll pick up this. Go ahead and snap one of their flyers. We'll just snap the 4/3 actually. Snap this guy. Gives them some value, but I don't know. I'm okay with it. Untap, untap. Meeting of Minds. Tap, tap this guy. Or the Arcane-Mancer. It's a just everything's of this guy. Can play Seed Oracle. Still looking for a Flicker. Trying to snap. Let's just snap the Seed Oracle and replay that creature. Untap, untap. Bam, bam. Play Seed Oracle. And what do we get? Serum Visions. Alright, I will cast the Serum Visions. Line draw. We find Flicker. And now we have infinite life. So we can put these on the bottom and play Flicker here. So this untaps my Arcane-Mancers. And then next turn we can win. Flicker. Flicker on the other Arcane-Mancer. Back to Flicker. We can cast the Meeting of Minds now. Tap. Use this mana, whatever. Although we could have drawn into a Muldrifter, I guess. And then I'll flicker my Arcane-Mancer to untap it again. Fancy, fancy play. And pass the turn. We're going to discard our Tranquil Cove and our Plains. We don't need either of those now. So Rafine's Informant comes into the battlefield. They gain some life. No problem. I got blown out by a deck like this that played Ramosian Rally, which you can cast for free by tapping a white creature, I believe, or some number of white creatures, and that really stunk. Like, I was fully prepared to win, and then they just blasted me. So you got to be aware of that. If they play the Pledge this turn, we have the Loose Focus or the Prohibit to counter it. They get in for 3 though, so they're simply dead. Alright, Squadron Hawk. I'm going to F6 now. They already made their land drop, so they have no journeys to play. Pretty easy to beat White Weenie with Familiars, to be honest. We're going to tap all of our blue sources, play the Sage Road Denizen. And then I'm going to flicker my Arcanemancers to get back the Snap. So for time-saving purposes, get back Snap, get back the Flicker, do Always Yield, and do and save targets there with a right click, and then click Always Yield. So now we're milling them. We snap the Faithful. Untap, untap. We just start milling them out. Boom, there's 2. We could do it as well by, it seems like things are moving kind of slowly, so I'm just going to flicker, get back snap. Just really punish them. I'm gonna sneeze. Alright, so flicker again. Some lag going on. Probably should have restarted. Get back all of our snaps. So this is dealing them, it's doing 4 mil a turn. Or a loop, I guess. Flicker again. Get back to snap. You can snap this one. Tap, untap. Snap that one. Untap their stuff. Snap again. Come on. Kabam! Untap. And then we're just flickering away. Grabbing the snaps. We could even snap our Seagate Oracles, I guess. For more triggers. They're at 14, so we have to do 7 more triggers. We're getting close. Do. Snap this one. Untap, untap. Snap. Kind of wasting time, I guess, aren't I? 2, 3. Alright. Close it out. So, their option is to try to let me use my clock here by comboing. Or what they can do is concede and save information. Because here, if I see Ramosian Rally in their graveyard, then I know that it's in their deck. And potentially not worth their time to, here, I'll swing out, make you use your clock, huh? Sorry, what am I talking about? Here, we get to see their deck. They have Recommission. They have a couple Lunarch Veterans for life gain, some Prismatic Strands, Course Skyfisher, 1 Recommission, bunch of Battle Screeches. I don't see any Ramosian Rallies. 1, 2, 3. So they must have had at least 1 pledge in hand, huh? Alright. We win. So we could consider just not trying to combo them and being a control deck, bringing in the Last Breath. Don't really need the loose, well, the loose focus is good against rallies, right? So I think maybe what I want to do is cut the Prohibit and the Sage Row, bring in a Revoke and a Last Breath, and be a control deck instead of combo deck. Our combo is just now going to be Snap Them Out attack, which is slow. Maybe that's not worth it. We only have 1 land, and it's in Ash Barrens, so this is a mulligan. Keep this one. I'll put back the Flicker. I'm going to Broker's Hideout for an island. Then I can cycle for a Plains and play the Faithful. They play a Rafine's Informant. Interesting thing we could do is snap it and then Last Breath it. Alright, play this, pass the turn. We'll yield until next end step. We can exile this creature forever with our Last Breath, which is good. Because it's very frustrating playing against all their life gain stuff. Alright, we play land. Lunarch Veteran. Cycle this one. for an island. Okay. We can play the familiar land, pass the turn. I'm holding up the snap here in case they journey to nowhere. What if they rally now? Block. So Guardian's Pledge, we snap this, untap, untap, and then exile this one. Bam. Take 3. Looks like we're gonna play Familiar, evoke the Drifter, and then put the Drifter back on top of the deck. Do we draw a meeting? Nope. Mortuary Mire, get back the Drifter, and pass. That was kind of a fancy play that we got to do on their turn. Snap and Last Breaths. Getting rid of their life gain creature too feels really good. We play the Rafine's Informant. So this turn, double Rafine's Informant, huh? We discard 2 planes. They're going wide. Going wide, wide, wide. Raven Inspector. Gets in for 1. One more pledge in hand can't kill us, I don't think. Play the Faithful, then Mole Drifter. See what we draw. Draw into a snap. I think I pass. We could preordain there, but holding up snap has been pretty decent. Sunlands. Sun nap. Untap, untap. Pass the turn. And they could swing it. We're just going to block here. They draw a card, so now they do not have the pledge up. We can feel free to block all their stuff. They're going to get in for 1 right now with the Luminous Phantom, but you can't even see power toughness. Uh-oh. I'm afraid of Ramosian Rally. I'm just going to block. They don't have it. Yay. Alright, cast Mole Drifter. Draw. Land. We can cast Medium Mines. Draw. Cast Arcane Answer. Get back the Medium Mines. That's the turn. I just wanted to draw cards, man. Am I dead though if I don't block? Let's see. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So, nope, not dead. Just swing out. Okay, block. They don't have it. We'll yield until next end step. Another familiar doesn't really do very much in our hand. So what I want to do is cycle for the island to get that out of the deck thinning. Cast Medium Mines, draw some cards, untap with a bunch of cards and mana. Lots of blue mana. Pretty nice sometimes to have the Tranquil Cove in play. So I like it overall as a 1-of. Oh, I forgot to meeting. What a dummy. I just got so excited. Preordain. Snap, huh? Let's preordain again and snap on top. Preordain. They're going very wide over there. It's scary. Chancery, no. Snap, yes. We'll cast Sunscape Familiar. Cast Me to the Mines. For free. Tapping just the Arcane Answer. Godfarrow's Faithful, huh? Let's go Faithful. Pass the turn. 5 mana, 6 mana. I think we can just lose focus a Guardian's Pledge here. So the question is, Battle Screech. Okay. Play another Battle Screech. Alright, well we are going to just block the Luminous Phantom if they attack out. And block the 2 grounders. Alright, so they're going to gain a life here by having their creature die. Yep. We can't do anything. Another Mole Drifter. Bam! So we gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. Drifter is going to resolve. Meeting of Minds, we can cast that. Draws 2 cards. I like when we're going off here, just drawing everything. Seagate Oracle. Draw some more cards. A loose focus. Don't know if that's necessary at the moment. Take the preordain. Preordain again. And then I think I will snap and replay the Moldrifter. Okay, flicker. So that's infinite life. Bottom, top this. So we don't have to snap and replay the Moldrifter now, we can just pass. No need to waste time making infinite life though. Just flicker here. We want to save our mana. Militia Bugler. Alright. What are you going to get? So you can see here that we have the game under control pretty much fully, but it's going to take us a long time to win. We're going to have to snap all their bird tokens. Play Core Skyfisher. Okay. I don't know what they're going to pick up. Maybe the Thraben Inspector? We're definitely going to win this game, but it's going to take us another 10 minutes. They finally pick up a card. They pick up the Luminous Phantom. Or no. What did they pick up? Militia Bugler. Alright. Let's draw some cards. Maybe they'll say, oh, writing's on the wall. Can't win here. My expectation is that will not be the case. Alright, we find Meeting of the Minds. Let's cast it. Draw some more cards. Draw some more cards. That feels good. So Meeting of the Minds maybe is just really, really good versus mid-range decks. Okay. So step one, play the Archaeomancer. We're going to grab the Last Breath. We now Last Breath to get rid of the Luminous Phantom. Play the Chancery, picking up the planes. And start snapping these birds. We also want to snap our Faithful. Tap. We're going to flicker. Snap. Get back all 4 of my snaps first. That's step one. One thing is interesting here is if you you click the snap first. Okay, they conceded to the infinite snaps. That's nice of you. Thank you. So if you click the snaps first, then the flicker goes into your hand first, and then the snap goes next. So you don't have to scroll as much. You can see the flicker. So the plan here was to snap all the birds, and then Last Breath of the Core Skyfisher, then attack, and then do it from there. But there's no reason for them to sit it out and try to use 8 minutes of my time just so that they still lose. And moving on is better. Appreciate it, and we'll see you in round 4. Round 4 versus Gabsy. Previously a mono blue player. That's okay. We're going to keep this hand. Lead on Broker's Hideout into an island. Grab the island. So we have triple preordain now. Maybe burn now, looks like. Do they have the turn 1 Swiftspear? Goblin Blast Runner. So it's a go wide burn deck, which is going to be frustrating. We're looking for a Faithful. Find a Meeting of Minds. Bottom the other meeting. Top the Cove. Play the Cove. Pass the turn. I don't know if we have time to play the meeting, and I want to try to draw into a Faithful. My weird ticks. Okay, so they get in for 1. We go back to, we're going to 21 because we had multiple life gain lands. Play the Seagate Oracle. We're finding a Faithful. Perfect. Pass the turn. So we can Faithful into preordain, or we can Faithful preordain Meeting of Minds. Pass the turn. They have an Epicure. They get to sacrifice the blood token, make this a menace, which is nice for them. They bash in for 3. We go to 17. Let's see. Oh, they just have a bolt. Wow. Bam. They really don't want my guy to block. Really, really don't. Let's go Faithful into preordain. Draw a card. Ephemerate and Snap. So is Ephemerate doing anything for me right now? Seems like not particularly. Snap could be okay. Autumn. We really need a familiar. I'm gonna top the snap in case I want to snap this last runner, and I'll pass. I know they have 5 power on the table. We can't really afford to block. They have a impulse into Great Furnace Mountain. Play the Great Furnace, makes sense. That can give them mana to play the tokens, or I mean something to sacrifice to play goblins. They go for a Kuldotha Rebirth, and we're gonna snap this. I don't think they can do anything in response, really. We're in a very bad position, though. Probably should have just snapped that on my turn and then just gone for the preordains. Here if they have a bolt, I'm hosed, so I can't block. They have 6 power on the table. Plays a Blast Runner again, still 3-2. Land in the exile zone. We preordain. Looking for blockers. Seagate Oracle is a blocker. Play out Seagate Oracle. See what we draw. A Faithful. Okay. Alright, pass the turn. Do you have a blast? Do you have a Bushwhacker? They have 8 power spread out through 1/1s that we can't deal with. Yeah. Like, not having Prismatic Strands makes it very difficult versus this one specifically. Unholy Light would also be good versus this one. Or Holy Light, not Unholy Light. Holy Light would be good versus this specific deck. So I guess maybe if you're playing the Seagate Oracle version, you want to be playing Unholy or Holy Lights in the sideboard. Looks like they're going to go to attacks. Block. Block, block. If they have double bolt for both my faithfuls, so be it. We weren't winning that anyway. We're blocking this one in case we want to snap tokens later. What is Shard Volley? Sacrifice a land, deals 3 damage to any target. Lava Dart. Wow, that worked out pretty well for them. We still have a blocker. We've lost 2 faithfuls. Prohibit. Alright, let's go land. Play Archaeomancer. We're going to get the snap and pass the turn. So we have Prohibit up for a Bushwhacker. We know that they have the Lava Dart in hand. Not in hand, on the graveyard. Ooh, Lava Runner. Okay. Land. So I think I'm going to kill some tokens. Then they're going to Lava Dart my Archaeomancer. I can snap the Blast Runner and then prohibit the Lava Dart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We go to 5. Nothing, huh? So Lava Dart plus Fire Blast kills us. We're gonna die to that anyway, though. Let's cast the Meeting of Minds. They can Lava Dart my creature now if they want. Go for it. They did lose on the damage, though. Serum Vision's looking real bad. Meeting of Minds. This. Pick up the Chancery. Go for a snap on the Blast Runner. Untap, untap. Now we have to counter everything. We can also snap the Lava Runner. Block, snap the Lava Runner. Take 3. Play the Blast Runner. Okay. This is a problem. Snap the Lava Runner. Runner. Okay, and then we're going to yield until the next end step. Block. Cycle. Grab an island. Ephemerate. Looking for Faithfuls. There's one. Now we need Faithfuls and blue spells. More blockers would be good as well. Nothing. Let's grab the island. Faithful. Cast Serum Visions. Go to 2. Find a blocker. We're going to bottom, play Seagate Oracle, go to 3, find an Ephemerate, guess we take it, pass the turn. So if they can't sacrifice something right now, we could maybe live. Block, block, block here. This is 3 damage. Cast Medium Mines. Go to 4. They put us to 1 again. Okay, I'm going to untap. Play Archaeomancer. I'm going to get the Prohibit. Ephemerate the Archaeomancer. Grab the Snap. Snap the Blast Runner. Somehow we're surviving here. We're at 3 though. Dead do a lot of things. Play a Sage Red Denizen. Go to 4. We have enough blockers now. We have Prohibit for Reckless Impulse or a burn spell. We're just sitting on blocks. Next turn we can Ephemerate for Ephemerate, and then Ephemerate for Medium Mines, and just start casting Medium Mines end steps. Blast Runner, okay. I can't afford to counter it. They do nothing. Okay. So Ephemerate here. Get back the Ephemerate, and I guess we're milling them. That's sort of sketchy. If they get a Lava Dart, that's bad. Mountains. Okay. Cast Preordain, go to 5. Looking for familiars, bottom these. Find a familiar. Sunscape. Ephemerate here. Grab the Ephemerate. Let's see what we mill from them. Shard Volley and a Lava Dart. So we can Ephemerate this again. Get back the Snap. Goblin Blast Runner. Snap the Oracle. Going to cast Seagate Oracle here, leaving up my white mana. So milling them is sketchy for sure. Lava Dart, 1 Synth, Mole Drifter, okay. So I think I just lay out the Drifter here. See what we mill. Mountain Synth, okay. We find a Flicker. Wow. Somehow we are maybe pulling it back. We have Prohibit. I think we need to try to keep the Archaeomancer alive specifically. Epicure, okay. So they can now attack with their Blast Runner. Maybe. We can double block the Blast Runner with the Seagate Oracle and the Sage Red Denizen. We Kuldotha Rebirth. Okay. They're at 7. They can. Alright, so they're going to be swinging. We're going to block, and then block, and block. No, I don't want to block there. This guy. Wonder if we just take it. We take this. A Lava Dart. Both these things die. Both these things die. Okay, here we go. We're gonna let our Sagero die. I don't really need the Sagero to win, and I don't really want to give them any more Lava Darts. We found the line, maybe? I assume they're gonna Lava Dart us. Put us to 6. Fire Blast is like gonna wreck us regardless. They Lava Dart the Mole Drifter. So I'm gonna counter it. And pass the turn. Alright, so what do we do? They have 2 lands. We have double Ephemerate. So they could kill my... no, they can't kill the Archaeomancer here because I have the Flicker. Aha! Okie dokie. Flicker again. Alright, so... I think that's the game. Now that we have infinite snaps here, play Arcane-Answer. And we're just going to grab Prohibit, Ephemerate, start snapping away. Snap. Flicker. And then we can start like drawing some cards with medium mines, but they scooped it up. Thank you, Gabsy. We're going to bring in all 4 Hydros. Don't know if the Last Breath is super good here. Sage Row is bad. I like cutting the down to 1 counterspell. We didn't see Fire Blast, but they could have it. Other than that, other than Fire Blast, everything else is low cost, so I'm going to get rid of the 2 loose focus. And then I like to get rid of 1 Ephemerate and 1 Arcane-Answer. So now that we have extra space, we'll bring in the Last Breath. I'm super unhappy about this Serum Visions overall. Not a fan. We could. I don't really want to cut that though, because we need stuff to do. Submit. You could try cutting a familiar, but I think that versus this deck, we need ground blockers. We need them. They go land, Swift Spear. You're at 19. Land, Swift Spear, attack, you go. Such is life. I'm going to bottom both of these. I just need lands. Some more blind draws to lands are better than just drawing a cantrip there that's kind of medium. And snap is medium as well. We can Last Breath their Swift Spear here. They go like Synthesizer. If they tap out, we just Last Breath it. They have to cast 2 spells to get out of range. The other option is to play the Familiar, but I think that's not a great one. So we can go turn 2, Last Breath, turn 3, evoke the Muldrifter, and then go from there. We are looking for Hydroblasts. Opponent plays a land. Goblin Blast Runner. Epicure. Alright, well, we could also just kill the Last Runner right now, because that represents more damage than the Swift Spear at the moment. Alright, we're going to go murder your Blast Runner. Turn 3, Familiar plus Hydroblast. Blast Runner is like a red Delver. We play Synthesizer. That puts us to 14 this turn. Rips an Epicure, puts us to 13 this turn. They're going to swing out. Nope, they play a land, so they could bolt as well. Plays a Kuldotha. Okay, 1 card in hand. They're jamming. An untapped land would. Okay, we have another Hydro. Pass the turn. So right now the Hydroblast is here to keep the Familiar alive. I want to block the Swift Spear. Play an Implement. Okay. Then they're going to crack the Implement. They're going to hit us for at least 5 right now, which stinks. So I think I'm going to block here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're not going to do anything about it. We're at 6. And this is horrid. Just evoke this Drifter. We need lands. It would be really funny if they had a Pyro here. Whatever. Counter. They didn't do anything because they had a Red Blast. They can't cast. Okay. Mortuary Mire. No. I think we're just going to die here. I'm not going to concede. Even though all they need is 1 spell to kill us. They play a land and what? Come on, opponent, you can do it. I believe in you. Block. Take 5, go to 1. Somehow we didn't die. Okay. Play Familiar. Evoke this. Flicker. I think the only way we can survive is if we somehow draw into a bunch of snaps. Snap this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We can Ephemerate. Oh no, I should have played my land first. Would have given me a lot more stuff to do. Ephemerate this guy. Well, I think that was a mistake on my part, right? Because I just did not. Let's try for another snap. Okay, land. Pick this up. Snap here. Alright, GG. Maybe that. I feel like I might have made some mistakes there. That is true. That is true. Let's just submit again. Early morning gaming, huh? Alright, let's go. We're on the play. Keep. Hesitant keep, right? Land, pass. And then go to the next end step. Land, Swiftspear, go! You're at 19. Ha! It must feel really good. I hate the stupid Swiftspear. Alright. Island. I know people love it. I know people love it. It's very beloved. Kill that forever. Then we're gonna pass. Turn this yields on. We have a turn 3 Seagate Oracle, so we are doing things every turn so far. We can play Meaning of Minds off the Seagate Oracle. Meaning of Minds being like sometimes risky is just such a problem. Looks like they were whiffing. No, they did find their land, so they're just playing out the synth in case they found a land. Plays an Epicure, and so now it's our turn. We get to go land, Seagate Oracle. I'm just playing this now. Get a blocker. We'll take the Muldrifter here. Pass the turn. And on our next turn, we'll play Sunscape Familiar, play the Chancery. We can cast Meaning of Minds off of Seagate Oracle Familiar Island. Land for the opponent. Implement of Combustion. Probably a Kuldotha Rebirth here. They Chain Lightning my creature. Oh, darn. One down. We take one, go to 17. That Swiftspear off the table has been pretty nice. We play the Familiar, Chancery, pass the turn. Cannot cast a Meaning of Minds. 1, 2, 3. This costs 4. Pass the turn again. And I count this as 2 because it's tap for 1 for Convoke and reduce for 1 for Convoke. They bolt. So they have turned into a control deck. Plays a Lava Runner. Puts me to 14. Lots of unconventional builds lately. Nice to see people trying different things. Alright, we got a Muldrifter. We pass. 4 Meaning of Minds in hand that we can't cast. GN's gonna be like, I told you. I think after this league, we're gonna have to start moving away from Meaning of Minds. It felt really good for a little while, and then I guess people adapted, and I don't know what happened. Just kind of fell apart. Another burn spell on my creature. Ormod's Crypt. Going deep. We're at 10. Okay. Play Muldrifter. Looking for a Faithful. Snap is fine. Not great. We find a Tranquil Cove to gain a life. They're gonna blow up my creature again. I'm gonna be like, come on! Stop! We discard a card. Discarding a Flaring Pain. Yeah, you know, they assumed that I was gonna bring in the Prismatic Strands, but luckily for them, luckily for us, or for them, I don't know. We just don't have it. Kuldotha Rebirth. I'm going to counter. No thanks. Prefer not to have that happen. Oh! They're winning! 1, 2, 3, 4. That's Meaning of Minds. Draw. I play the Mire right now. They'll probably want to blow the Tormod's Crypt. But I think I want to play the Chancery. Pick this up. And I wanted to snap this. So on their turn, well, this is super risky, right? But we're going to do what we can do. We're going to discard this Plains. We're going to snap the Lavamancer, cast Meaning of Minds. Next turn, Mortuary Mire the Familiar, a Reckless Impulse. Find a Synthesizer and a Great Furnace. Okay. 1 card in hand, so currently can only deal us 3 from burn spells. They find another Lava Runner. Frustrate. Okay, they go to attacks. We snap the Lava Runner. Untap, untap. Cast Medium Mines. Double Mancer. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 mana. Let's play Tranquil Cove. Go to 5. Cast a Seagate Oracle. This can block one of the Lava Runners. We find a Flicker. Let's cast Archaeomancer, which was going to attempt to get back a Hydroblast, so they'll crack the Crypt. No, they have Lava Runner in hand. We're at 5. Oh, man. Just not really coming together. They're just going to crack the Crypt right now. Makes sense. We pass the turn. We need a Faithful. They crack the Synth. They find a mountain. So they must not have had a land. Wow, gosh, what's in their hand? Lava Runner, 2 unknowns. Just double Lava Runner. Okay, so what happens here? We block the 2 Lava Runners, we take 3. We're dead to a burn spell. We block and block, we take 4, we're dead to a burn spell. Get a creature off the table. Somehow they don't have a burn spell. Step 1, snap. Well, I guess we need to see if we find a familiar. Okay, bottom, top this. So the familiar gives us infinite snaps, which means we can play some Meeting of the Minds. Snap this dude. Untap, untap. Archaeomancer. Our opponent's going to be really unhappy if they lose from this position. Snap. Untap, untap. We're going to cast Meeting of the Minds. 1, 2, 3. Draw some cards. Flicker here. Oh, grab a snap. So in this position, Meeting of Minds is nice. Snap this one. We need life gain. Flicker. So let's untap and do cast Meeting. 1, 2, 3. Snap this one. You can cast the familiar. Flicker these 2. Get back to Meeting. And cast it for free. Okay. Things are happening. Oh my goodness. Try it again. Meeting again. Hydroblast. Let's cast a Seagate Oracle. And a Preordain and a Prohibit. Let's Ephemerate. We know they have 3, so let's Ephemerate the Seagate Oracle looking for a Faithful. Just another Seagate Oracle. Play the Seagate Oracle. Another Flicker. Take that. Land. We're passing the turn. We have blocks. We have 1 Hydroblast, 1 Prohibit. So they have 3 G2s in hand and 2 unknowns, which we can counter the 2 unknowns with the Prohibits. If one of them is a Lava Dart, we're hosed. Lava Runner. Lava Runner. Okay, you can attack. Alright, so we're going to block here, and block here. Take 1 Lava Runner off the table. Alright, maybe they just have Flaring Pains in hand. It's just not useful. That would be really funny. We're at 1, just chilling. No problem. 1 is not dead. 1 is not 0. Ephemerate, get back the Ephemerate. Should we go to 2 with the Broker's Hideout? I guess so. Go to 2. Let's see if we have any lands to search up. We have lots of islands. Well, I mean, minimum I can attack with these 2. Bam! Put you to 22. Flicker. Looking for a Faithful. That would close the game out. Still no Faithfuls. I guess I take Preordain. Preordain. There's the Faithful. Okie dokie. Let's gain some life for a little bit here. Raw. Or we're not drawing anything, we're just gaining life. What a wild match. I cannot believe that we came back there. That was unreasonable. What is in our opponent's hand? Let's just go to like 10. Not waste our entire day flickering. Already almost time for everybody in my house to get up. And they scoop it up. Okay. Cool. Let's try to finish the league. We'll see you in the next round. Round 5 versus unique username. Somewhat unique. Alright, we're on the play. We've got land, snap, bounce land. Pretty sweet. The only thing that we're weak to here is Ponza, so let's see if we just pair right into it. Please, no Ponza. Land. Your turn. No covered islands, so they're on mono blue fairies. We're going to go for turn 2 Chancery, turn 3 Seagate Oracle. We could also, like, if they have a ninja on their turn 2, if it's big ninja, we could snap it, play Seagate Oracle, and Ephemerate, or do something like that. Let's see. We're really looking for Faithfuls now at this point. Let's see if we can kind of come back from that round 1 mono blue fairies loss to really get them this time. Play smart. The thing is, with the Meeting of the Minds build, you're really looking for early creatures, and here these are turn 3 creatures, making the Meeting of the Minds not super effective, turning it into a divination. You need it to be like 2 mana draw 2 or 1 mana draw 2 to really be valuable. So I was thinking during the breaks about different ways that I could potentially maximize Meeting of the Minds. Okay, they go Moon Circuit Hacker. Draws a card. So Hacker I'm not super afraid of by itself. Fairy Seer. Let's see what we draw. If we find like a familiar, we can go Fam Snap. Seagate Oracle. Just do nonsense things. Even a Faithful would be fine right now. With Faithful, snap the Seer. Play Seagate Oracle. I'm talking about my 1 and 2 drops really. Familiar! Okay, we did the thing. So we get to go Familiar into Snap the Fairy Seer. Tap on tap. Play the Seagate Oracle out. I'm going to grab the other Seagate Oracle here and Ephemerate this Seagate Oracle immediately. Getting this Faithful. Passing the turn. And there's going to be a no blocks from me over here. The reason I didn't snap the Hacker specifically was because they could just cast it, or they could just like jam in again and get in and like abuse the Hacker. So let's see. I think I'm not going to block. I want to go for the Ephemerate on the Seagate Oracle, make them use their Spellstutter Sprite. Then I can Faithful, snap and replay my guy or whatever. You really want to get the Faithful in play, so having them like tap out is really good. Faithful is basically how we win this matchup. Ephemerate. Ephemerate resolves. Now we get a loose focus. So we can loose focus a Spellstutter Sprite. Can God Pharaoh's Faithful here. We're going to loose focus. Perfect. Exactly like I drew it up. Okay. I'm going to snap this. So now I can cast Meeting Minds. Draw 2. We can snap our own creature. Boom. Untap. Familiar. Play Seagate Oracle. Find a Chancery. Or Meeting. So can't cast the Meeting. We can cast the Meeting right now, but then I think I'm just going to take the safe play, take the Chancery, play that out, picking up the land. let them have their turn. We still have double Seagate Oracle plus SRD if we want it on the next turn. So the other option was, and we'll look at the top 2 cards of the deck, but taking the Meeting of Minds, spamming it here, looking for an island so we could play this next Seagate Oracle and then just really go off. But I like having the doubles. I like having the safety of having the lands. Just makes me feel warm and fuzzy and like I'm not going to get wrecked. Your turn. They cast an Of One Mind for 1 mana. Plays a land. At this point, I will block. There's really no reason not to. Make them have mutagenic or whatever. They already discarded 1 Brine Barrow over here, and they use a mutagenic, so they have 5 cards in hand. They're going to make a big ninja. So this guy dies, they get to draw a card. They're probably going to replay their ninja. At this point, we're looking for Drifter. Or, I guess, more Meeting of Minds. I'll take it. But Drifter would be great. Also, Arcanomancer would be great. Snaps. Already played 2 snaps, though. So there was an island on top, which would have made the Meeting of the Minds play fine. I'll cast a Seagate Oracle. Getting some blockers. So we can take Flicker or another Faithful. I think the Flicker is a better play. Play another Seagate Oracle. And then we can draw 2 with the Flicker. Oh, Drifty Boy. Coming in hot. Kabam. So this game is working out a lot better than the other one. At least our game 1 here. Our opponent is now under the gun, basically. If they attack, we double block the big ninja with the Seagate Oracles, and we block the little ninja with the Familiar, I think. Interesting that they attack this way. I feel they don't have mutagenic in hand at the moment, just based on their actions. I mean, I'm obviously going to block here. Do you actually have the mutagenic, or are you just going to flash into Brine Barrow? They had the muta, it's just they were trying to figure out what they would kill with the mutagenic, what they could leave open. Plays a Fairy Seer. So now that makes it so that Spellstutter Spread is online for a 3-drop. And they go top bottom with the Scry. Alright, we'll go Serum Visions. Our crummiest cantrip. Opponent's reading the card. Prohibit Chancery. So bottom the Chancery, top the Prohibit. Land. We can Preordain again. I mean, that was Serum Vision, this is a Preordain. Bottom, top the Prohibit. So I can attempt to snap and replay the Seagate Oracle. We have answers to Spellstutter Sprite with the Prohibit. We have answers to Spell Pierce with the 2 mana we have available. Attempt to counter the Spellstutter Sprite. Really, they should have let it resolve and then, I guess, maybe not. Cast it again. If they have another sprite in hand, they would have probably used it to save their other sprite. Wow. Seagate Oracle again. Kabam. Looking for a meeting, I guess. Mole Drifter will take. Pass the turn. Your turn. I'll just go ahead and F6 here. I got nothing going on. They're going to get in for 2. Let's see if they have some ninjas. With 3 cards in hand. Of course, here comes the ninja. They've got 8 of them. They might as well have some more in hand. Ninja. Boom. They draw a card. They go to 4. We know they have a Fairy Seer in hand. 3 mana available for them. They play Fairy Seer so they can use 1 counter if they want. I really want to go Drifter, Flicker, Drifter. So, they have 2 cards in hand. They went bottom. They must not have drawn anything then. Let's cast the Meeting of the Minds. Draw some cards. That throws Faithful. Perfect. Or, maybe not perfect, but it's pretty good. I will play Preordain. Trying to find a counterspell or something that'll make them want to... Alright, we have a second Flicker is good. Let's go for Flicker here. See what they do. Counterspell. Alright. Evoke the Drifter. Draw. Let's see what we draw. Archaeomancer. So now we can flicker Drifter Island and go Archaeomancer for Ephemerate. This loses to Spell Pierce though. I had Counterspell in hand. I think I'm going to play the Archaeomancer. Now the risk is, do I play around Spell Pierce right now? They have one card in hand. I think I'm not going to. Take the flicker. Pass the turn. So they would have to have another Counterspell or Spellslick Sprite. But, you know, if they had that anyway. They have a Fairy Miscreant. Declines to get in. We'll go Sunscape Familiar. Play Sage Row. See if we win the game. Flicker. Guess we win. And save targets. And another Moldrifter. So let's attempt to flicker here. What we can do is get back the snap. Just in case something weird happens, I'm going to snap the Archaeomancer. Untap, untap. Like, they must have nothing, right? If they're holding at this point, I'd be so surprised. We're going to get back the Ephemerate. Ephemerate the Archaeomancer. This is all just in case they have been sandbagging forever. You flicker here. So you can see the combo that I talked about before, where you flicker the Archaeomancer and the island, they untap. You're good to go. Love that they're letting me see their whole deck here. Thank you, opponent. Do. So we just flicker. To make this go faster, you could F6. Depends if they are F6. They're at 1746 on clock. Nothing's happening, so it looks like they are F6'd. So what we're going to do is say yield through this turn, because we're floating white mana only. So this way we don't have to press OK to the faithful triggers. It does take a while for them to resolve. Then we're just practicing our clicks. Flickering around. So I just spam click the islands, go island Archaeomancer. Everything's kind of small on my screen, so a little bit of just go flicker here. Kind of hard to just, you know, click super fast. We can tell that they're still F6. We do the thing. I wonder how long this is actually taking me to accomplish. One of the things I was wondering about was, like, people talk about Altertron being super slow to play on Magic Online, but if you look at this, like, just executing this combo is taking quite a while. Sometimes, like, Altertron is easy to play because you just win on turn 4, and then you can spend 3 minutes comboing, but you still have a ton of clock. Here we're winning on turn 8 and comboing at the same time, which adds a lot of extra. And we have 3 familiars in play, so we can just play a Moldrifter. And then I'm going to hold the OK key so that I don't have to do anything for the attacks. They lose the game. Let's see if they're doing anything weird. Okay, they have 2 Spire Golems. Counterspell, Moon Circuit Hacker, Brine Barrow, let's see, 1, 2, 3 hackers, 1 on the battlefield, 2 Ninja the Deep Hours, 3, 4, so 8 ninjas for this opponent. They've got the of 1 mines, Brine Barrows. I don't see any of the the backup creature. So double Spire Golem, 1, 2, 3. 2. So it's possible the last card in their hand was a Mutagenic Growth, or an island. So we're bringing in a Last Breath. We're cutting the Sage Road Denizen. The last thing to do is determine what the other cut is. I think I'm just going to cut the Serum Visions. I don't really like it very much. It's been very poor. Okay, game 2 on the draw. I think I'm keeping. It's like it's risky again. We have turn 2 Snap Your Ninja. I'm just going to spam this Preordain so that if they have Spell Pierce, they have Spell Pierce. If they don't have Spell Pierce, then I get to land a Preordain. Likelihood is that they're going to flash in a Brine Barrow here. Fully anticipated. It's possible that they will go Big Ninja. They're going to do nothing. I'm going to play the Chancery, pick up the island, and discard the Flicker. I need to have land drops in play. They're going to get in. They go for Mini Ninja. Feel like they're holding up Spellstutter Sprite, not Counterspell. But we'll see. Land. That's the land they know about, so that's we're going to play that one. Seed Oracle. Counterspell. Okay. They get in. So, if they don't have a second Counterspell in hand, we can snap the Hacker and play a Muldrifter. Now we can't snap the Hacker. They went bottom. Land. Pass. On their turn, we'll cast the Medium Mines. I'm just doing it before combat. At the position in the game where they have the fewest known cards in hand. Spell Pierce, of course. Kind of, that's pretty much expected, but we had to do something. They get in. They're going to Ninja. Alright, so now we could snap Ninja and then go Drifter Ephemerate. Or we can just hardcast a Drifter. Looks like we're going to have to try to hardcast a Drifter. Snap to... Land. So this turns on Snap the Fairy Seer. Okay. Evoke the Muldrifter. We have Loose Focus for a Counterspell or Ephemerate. We Ephemerate here. Then they go ahead and cast their Spellstutter Sprite. I snap it. I untap. I get to play double Faithful and draw 2 cards. Nice. Faithful into Faithful. That's the turn. Quite good. My plan is to block both of the Hackers with my Faithfuls. They got Spellstutter Sprite, Fairy Seer in hand. Some unknowns as well. Block. And we can actually probably force through the Ephemerate on the Drifter here. They have a Fairy Seer. So then we try to land the Ephemerate. They Spellstutter Sprite. The biggest problem here would be a snap. Snap. Ephemerate. I'm going to use the Loose Focus at this time. The same as the Spellstutter Sprite here, and it's probably my best bet. It's going to be really bad later. They've already got a bunch of lands in play. Spellstutter Sprite down. They have a Dispel. We will counter the Dispel. I'm going to leave the white mana open so that if I draw an untapped land, I can Last Breath the Spire Golem. We're drawing a bunch of cards here. There's an untapped land. Get rid of the Spire Golem. Now we're feeling good. Feeling good. Pass the turn. We beat a Spell Pierce. They're gonna just make me block. I will block. No Mutas for them. They've used 1 counterspell so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's just try Drifter. Make them have it. And they scooped it up because they did not have the counterspell in hand. Sweet. So we ended up 4-1, beating. So we lost to Fae. We beat Familiars. We beat Mono Blue or Mono White. Then we beat Burn. Then we beat Fae. So that was very strong. The question is really whether or not the Medium Mines is really worth it, right? So let's just talk about the list a little bit. Serum Visions, not happy. Did not like it. Let's get rid of that guy. The other thing is, like, Sage Road Denizen in the main is good, and it's nice to have a combo out, but you could maybe just like my concern is that it doesn't matter that much. Like in the end, I cut it almost every single time. I used to really like a 8 cantrip familiars list, so I wonder about doing something like opening new copy of the deck and then going the modern age and then cutting this and maybe like going 4 and then seeing what else we could cut, like 1 meeting, 1 Seagate Oracle. Just be very aggressively doing this. So this ends up being sort of an 8 cantrip list. Don't know. There's a lot to think about. If you end up cutting the Sage Denizen from the main deck, you have to have some way of dealing with enchantments to get them off the table, like Dawnbringer Cleric. I also really like the fact that Sage Denizen combo can force through a mid-range war where they're just sitting there behind all their blockers and trying to time you out. So definitely interested in having the combo in the main deck for those purposes. I still really like the Last Breaths. They're good versus the Mirror, really good versus Fae, and I really like how they interact with making our bad matchups of Elves and Walls a little bit better. Hope you enjoyed. Hit me up if you have any questions. I'll link the Familiars Discord as well, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.